Hey everyone, Gary of the Elysiums here. Well, earlier today we got the news that Dave Mustaine and Megadeth are calling it quits. They're going to be doing a final studio album and a final global tour and basically heading into retirement. So with that sad news, I decided to do a video showing off my Megadeth CD collection. There's also 2 videos to show. Now, before we get in this video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, like this video, share this video if you'd like. I'd greatly appreciate it. So we have 31 CDs to show here, and a Blu-ray and a DVD. Unfortunately, I do not have the War Chest box set yet. Doesn't mean I won't ever have it. I could get it eventually. But I don't have it. Only reason I didn't really buy it is because I had most of the tracks off of that, and it was kind of a heavy price, so I decided to stay away from it. But anyway, let's get into the CD collection. First up is the debut album, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. This is an original Combat release. Not the way the band wanted it, not the way Dave wanted it. Basically, the Combat Records, the label, took this picture, put it on there, put the track listing the way they wanted it, and it wasn't exactly the way Dave wanted it. So years later, excuse me, this came out in 1985, by the way. So years later, 17 years later to be exact, in 2002, Dave finally was able to put his version out. This is Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. This is remastered and remixed. As you see there, it has different album cover art. I think that might have been the original art Dave on it. But, again, this is 2002. It looks much newer than something would have been in 1985. So maybe it was something similar to that, but more enhanced. This has 3 bonus tracks on it, which are demos, re-released through Loud Records. As you can see, the huge difference there. Same album. If you turn it around, you will see a different track listing from each one. So this here on the right, sorry about the glare, is the track listing Dave wanted. This is the track listing that was originally released. And we're not done with Killing Is My Business, because we also have this, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, the final kill. This again is remastered from, what year is this remastered? 2018 release, this time through Legacy Records. Features way more bonus tracks on this one. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 more bonus tracks. So a longer album here. Comes in a digipack. We all don't like digipacks, as we know. But it also features a re-recorded version of these boots with Dave singing closer to the original version rather than the version that was originally recorded for the first album. And of course we have Peace Sells, But Who's Buying on Combat Records. One of the greatest thrash metal albums of all time. Iconic cover there. We got the classic lineup of Dave Mustaine, of course David Ellison, or Dave Jr., Chris Poland, Gar Samuelson. Just love that cover art. This is one of those covers that I just stare at and just admire the artwork on it. It's just an awesome, awesome album. Features the great title track, of course. And I will say, I did buy those, I think it was 2004 remasters of Megadeth, where you put all the spines together. It was basically everything from Peace Sells up until Risk, and when you put the spines together, it features Vic Rattlehead. I think it was like, it kind of looked like the Vic Rattlehead face from Rust in Peace. But after hearing that, well, so many people just said the remix and remasters did not sound great, and knowing that I already had these original CDs, I decided to just stick with my original CDs, and I ended up selling the remaster remix ones. But cool thing is I sold them super cheap, like $1 a piece, to someone who was just got into Megadeth and was a huge fan, and just started collecting CDs, and I thought it was really cool, and I was like, hey, you know, if I'm going to give this up and I'm going to sell it to someone, I'm glad it was this person. And like I said, I got $1 per disc for it. Nothing crazy. Next, we had the very first album I bought from Megadeth. So Far, So Good, So What. This is released in 1988. There we see Vic Rattlehead looking a little different. There's an actual photo of someone dressed as him rather than the cartoon that we would see on most of the albums to come. Still featuring that original lineup. The reason this was my first Megadeth CD is Tower Records used to have this in a, I don't want to say bargain bin, but I think it was like a $7.99 bin, and it was the cheapest Megadeth CD. And I was, you know, I was young and saved up, I guess, my chore money or whatever, collecting change, and yeah, this was the first album I bought. And I knew the song Anarchy in the UK from a compilation, so I was like, you know, familiar with it. Blew me away though. I knew the band. I knew, you know, the songs that were played on MTV, but remember, this is around the time of, like, you know, Cryptic Writings and Risk hadn't even come out yet. So I'm used to those, you know, MTV videos. I don't think I heard anything from Rust in Peace yet. I just knew, like, Peace Sells and Trust, things like that. And man, this blew me away. The opening instrumental into Set the World Afire, In My Darkest Hour, is still one of my favorite Megadeth songs of all time. And this album is so underrated. It gets so much hate for some reason. It just doesn't deserve it. Just because it was not as solid as the album came before it, and not as solid as the album that would come after it, which is my favorite Megadeth album, Rust in Peace. Not only that, it's my favorite lineup of Megadeth, with obviously Dave Mustaine, Dave Ellefson, Marty Friedman, and Nick Menza on drums. Another one, just the artwork is just amazing. There's the back cover there. And I love these early CDs because it just shows you that 80s vibe, even though this is 1990, but that old school thrash vibe. So yeah, if anyone's wondering, I do prefer the original releases on Combat and Capitol Records over the remastered versions that were released in 2004. And then we have Countdown to Extinction. This was a huge album for the band, released in 1992. Features the huge hit singles, and the videos for these songs were played all over MTV. Symphony of Destruction. Also, Sweating Bullets. And just an iconic, awesome album cover. It's almost like creepily scary. When I was wearing this shirt before, someone was like, that's a creepy shirt you got on. And I was like, this was like a woman in like her early 50s. I was like, yeah, it's Megadeth, the band. She's like, oh, that's a band, Megadeth. And I was like, where have you been? We see Vic Rattlehead right on the back there with what's that called? An abacus or something like that. Abacus. I forget what it's called. I know I'm butchering it. Someone will probably tell me. Again, original Capitol / Combat release. Awesome album. This sees the band slow down a little bit. It's a little more commercial. I think Dave's gonna hate me for saying this, and this was the album that kind of tried to rival the Black Album from Metallica. So they did go a little more commercial, and you know, they did have 2 big hit singles from it. Obviously didn't match the hype behind the Black Album, but still an album that kind of broke Megadeth into being a household name if it hadn't already. Next we have Euthanasia. Now I have a few friends that say this is their favorite album from Megadeth and their best album. I disagree. It's their best album. I do like it a lot. Atat Le Monde is a great track off of this. That was the big hit single. The title track's awesome. Train of Consequences, Reckoning Day, which opens it. But again, this sees the band going not really thrashier, kind of going from Countdown to Extinction. At times trying to be a little more commercial, in my opinion. I always hated that picture of them on the disc. It kind of reminds me of like a Bon Jovi picture. I don't know what they were thinking. But again, my favorite lineup of Megadeth. Those four guys made magic together. And released in 1995 is an EP called Hidden Treasures. This features unreleased songs, B-sides, things like that. 8 songs altogether. A lot of cover songs on this, like I just said. No More Mr. Nice Guy, which was from the movie The Shocker. Not The Shocker, The Shocker, which is obviously the Alice Cooper cover. Breakpoint's an awesome song. Go to Hell. Angry Again is one of my favorite Megadeth songs of all time. In my opinion, it was Dave's attempt to make a grunge radio hit. You know, I hear influences of Alice in Chains on that song. Features the cover of Paranoid from Black Sabbath, and Problems, which was a cover of Sex Pistols song. That was the only song to be previously unreleased until this album was released. And they didn't remaster this. This was just a regular 1995 album. So when I had the 2004 remasters, I couldn't like stick this in the middle because it would ruin that picture of Vic Rattlehead on the spine. So it was kind of weird. My OCD got the best of me with that. Back up next from 1997, Cryptic Writings. I mentioned it earlier. Trust was the big hit single off of this. Awesome, awesome song. My favorite song off of this album is She-Wolf. Just think it's a crusher. Super heavy. Now, when this album was released, there was 2 covers released. We have this gray cover, which I own, with the red writing, and there's also a black cover with red writing, and you know the black, I guess you would call it a compass or whatever, was in gray. So, yeah, 2 covers released. I'm not really sure why, or if one was exclusive to a certain store or whatever was going on, like whatever that was about. I should have probably looked it up. But anyway, really good album. Probably Megadeth's last album of the 90s, because up next is Risk. Again, I'm a huge Megadeth fan, so I could be biased, but not as bad as an album as most people say. Of course, like, you know, Crush 'Em is, but I do like Prince of Darkness. I like Breadline. 7 I even like. You know, I still throw this on from time to time. Not the first Megadeth album I pull out, but you know, I listen to this more than other Megadeth albums, later ones. As you see, the artwork here kind of features a mousetrap. The remastered one from 2004 featured a different cover, which was, you know, looked much cooler. It was kind of looks like a cat. Was it like was it a hairless cat? I can't remember. A hairless cat going after a mouse, something like that. But yeah, they released different cover art for that one. Next up, we have a compilation. This is called the Capital Punishment. It's basically songs from the Capitol years. A type of greatest hits, but features some new songs like Kill the King, Dread and the Fugitive Mind. But then we get stuff from, you know, Trust, always back to, Risk, all the way back. We have Trust on here. I was reading it as I was trying to say Risk. Risk all the way back to Peace Sells But Who's Buying. Nothing from Killing Is My Business is on this. I always loved this album cover. I don't know what it is. It's like the color scheme for me. I just really liked it. It's like, I guess, a Russian roulette board? Not Russian roulette. Just regular roulette, I believe. I'm not a gambler. I don't know all the games. And then next up we have The World Needs a Hero. This is the remastered version, so the cover art's a little different. This was remastered in 2019, this time by Sanctuary Records, which was the label Megadeth was on at the time. And inside, that was the original album cover right here. So basically it features on the skeleton, Vic as the skeleton a little more than showing him coming out of the body. I like this album. The title track was awesome. Moto Psycho, Dread and the Fugitive Mind, which was on Capital Punishment, is on this for the first time. Silent Scorn, Return to Hangar was exciting because Hangar 18 is my favorite all-time Megadeth song. The riffing on that is just awesome. Still have Dave and Dave, but Nick Menza and Marty Friedman have left the band. Can't believe I'm drawing a blank because this is a famous lineup here. Al Pitrelli on guitar, and the drummer is even more famous. Then Jimmy DeGrasso on drums. Can't believe I drew a blank on that. So yeah, this was the album that Megadeth released right before they had a short hiatus. Dave Mustaine, I remember something like he fell in the shower and he hurt his hand, like he hurt nerves in his hand, and he couldn't play guitar as fast as he wanted to. And at the time, like, we thought Megadeth called it quits. Like, that was it. Like, this was the last album. You know, coming after Risk, and this wasn't big with the critics, not a huge seller. So we thought it was the last album. Some compilations were going to be released. Some live stuff like this here. This is Rude Awakening. This is a 2-disc live set. Excuse me. This, I believe, was taken on the, yeah. So this was recorded from the World Needs a Hero tour. Like I said, 2-disc set. I don't believe they're no, just building. Yeah, 24 songs total. It's cool. It's just, it would have been nice to get a live set from either the first lineup or the second lineup with Marty Friedman, rather than the Al Pitrelli, Jimmy DeGrasso lineup. Next up, we have a EP of sorts. This is Still Alive and Well. So basically, this is what I was talking about. This was released when Megadeth was on hiatus, as you see there, 1985 to 2002. Kind of a weird album because it features 6 live tracks and then 6 songs from A World Needs a Hero. I don't know what they were doing. I think they were trying to push that album. But when you're releasing 6 songs from an album that has, what, 13 songs, you know, you're basically re-releasing half of the album, and, you know, who's really going to go out to grab this, especially when you just released a live album? People like me, that's who. All right. Dave is back. The system has failed. Dave's retirement failed. Cool album cover there. I guess that's right in front of the... You really tell what that's in front of. But then you got some politicians. You got someone looks like basically Dick Cheney. There's George Bush. You got Bill and Hillary over there. Looks like that could be Reagan. Again, the system has failed. Talk about the government. Dave Mustaine was always political. You got the Capitol building in the back there. Not the best album, not the return we wanted. They basically we kind of were, when Megadeth said they're coming back, we were hoping for more of a thrashier side. They kind of went on the same path that they were with The World Needs a Hero. I don't think this album is that strong though. Die Dead Enough was the hit single from this. Of Mice and Men is a good song, and Shadow of Death I do like. And then we have a Greatest Hits, Back to the Start. This one's cool. If you just want to, like, you know, basically hear some of Megadeth's best songs without putting on the whole album, this is my favorite Greatest Hits compilation from them. Just features 17 tracks, opens up with Holy Wars and ends with Prince of Darkness. There's the track listing there. 2005 release, Greatest Hits. Next up, this was a much better album, I think, than The System Has Failed. This is United Abominations. Again, you see that political message from Dave once again. This is a remastered Digipack version. Yeah, I did actually go out and buy the remastered version in a Digipack, which I don't know why I did that. But it does feature one bonus track, Out on the Tiles, excuse me, which is a cover of the Led Zeppelin song released from Led Zeppelin 3. Sleepwalker, Washington is Next. There is a Tot Le Monde, Set Me Free. So it's kind of a reworking of the Tot Le Monde with Christina Scabia from Lacuna Coil doing the Set Me Free line from Heaven's a Lie. Then we have that One Night live in Buenos Aires, a live album. This was released in 2007. Much better live album than Rude Awakening, in my opinion. Again, 2 tracks, or 2 CDs, I should say, 22 tracks. Released a video behind it. Some cool backstage pass photos there, the passport. Yeah, this was better because it featured more of their earlier stuff. We do get stuff from United Abominations and the early 2000s stuff, like Return to Hangars on here. But you also get like Tornado of Souls, Hangar 18, Set the World Afire, Sympathy of Destruction, a lot of the early stuff. So that was really cool. This was a weak album, in my opinion. Super Collider. Not the best one. Kingmaker, it opens it. We have the title track, Burn. Is that even Vic Rattlehead? Like, what? That's like a Iron Man version of Vic Rattlehead. So he's definitely changed over the years. Like I said, nothing special, but if you're a Megadeth fan like me, you'll still dig it. Then we have 13. Cool cover there with the back of Vic. And you got the band on the back. Features really cool songs on here. Public Enemy #1 was kind of like the hit single release for it. Sudden Death, which opens it, is really cool. And this also features, this is a new band, by the way. We have Sean Drover on this one. And Chris Broderick on guitar. I'm like doing bad today with remembering names. I also forgot to mention that Dave Ellison left for a brief period of time after The World Needs a Hero. But he is back. He's back in the fold again. I know he's back out again, but he's back in the fold. And then we have Rust in Peace Live. Again, exciting album. Features the entire album, Rust in Peace Live. The first 10 songs are that. The last 6 songs are bonus performances. Just kind of like a greatest hits and tracks off other live albums. But, again, the only downfall is this is not a live album featuring Nick Menza and Marty Friedman playing those songs live. Hopefully that'll surface one day. This album is really, really good. I like this a lot. Endgame. This was a strong album for Megadeth. Dialectic Chaos. This Day We Fight was the single release to promote the album. This remastered version features a bonus track, Washington Is Next, live. It's a 2019 remaster. Again, in the Digipack. Yes, I did. I did buy the remaster in Digipack and got rid of the jewel case version. I just think it sounds better. These remasters sound better in my opinion. You see, was Vic's pulling the mask off of a prisoner there. Another greatest hits of sorts. This is Anthology, Set the World Afire. 2-disc set, 35 songs, a couple previously unreleased tracks, one previously unreleased in the US, which was a live version, Symphony of Destruction, excuse me. It's a 2-disc set. Cool picture of the Megadeth pick there. And I don't know, it looks like Dave's breaking through glass or something on the cover. All right, still got some more to go. Countdown to Extinction live. Again, doesn't feature the lineup that played on the album, but still cool. This one's a little different though. It features the full album, but it opens with Trust, and then goes into Hangar 18, Public Enemy. Then it starts with Countdown to Extinction album. Ends with Peace Sells and Holy Wars. I do like the album cover there. I like that they did a different version of. You see my Phillies hat there in the glare. They did a different version of the Countdown Extinction, but they did the guy in red on a black background. I mean, with this, there's no reference to, besides, Vic back there in the clouds, no reference to the original Rust in Peace cover. This is actually a documentary CD. Megadeth Way Back When. So it includes an exclusive interview containing intimate details, rare insight, and other gems not previously discovered until now. I forget where I got this at. I picked it up hoping there was going to be music on it, but it is just an interview. and basically a little biography of the band. Something cool to throw on in your car if you still have a CD player in your car. Going for a long drive just to listen to and get a little history. This next album was really strong, Dystopia. Loved this album when it came out. I thought it was amazing. I still think it's amazing. Still a great album, especially this late in the career of Megadeth. Dystopia, the title track, was the single release. The Threat Is Real is amazing. Post-American World, Bullet to the Brain. So this was released in 2016. And at the time this was released, I remember getting this at Target. Hey, it's 2016. It's tough to buy CDs at different places. A lot of the mom and pop shops around me don't carry new releases, which is weird. But when this came out, the Target version, I think it was still like $13.99 or whatever they charged for a CD, came with a mail-away to get this album on vinyl, which I thought was super cool. So you basically got the CD and the vinyl for like $13. The vinyl would come in the mail, but really cool. Next we have Warheads on Foreheads. This is probably the definitive greatest hits compilation from Megadeth, spread over 3 discs. If you get the vinyl, it's in this huge box. I think it's like 6 or 8 records all together. So this one is cool because it features stuff from Killing Is My Business all the way up to Dystopia. So this is the first time we have, Combat, Capitol, what is the records? The Universal Music, BMG, all that stuff back together. So that was cool. This one was weird. Unplugged in Boston. We never thought we'd hear Megadeth Unplugged. I don't really go for this. Basically because the track listing isn't like the songs I'd go to as often. As you can see there, Dread and the Fugitive Mind, Trust. Holy War is on here, but it doesn't sound great acoustic. This was recorded live at Bill's Bar in Boston, Massachusetts on May 9th, 2001. Was anyone there? Or does anyone go to Bill's Bar? Or know anything about it? Is it still there? Curious. Let me know in the comments. Here we have this is a Laser Media kind of bootleg CD. Total Destruction, radio broadcast recordings, 4-disc set. No booklet, nothing special. We only have that picture in the front cover. All discs look alike. So we feature it's basically 2 albums. Buenos Aires in 1997, spread over the first 2 discs, and Detroit 2004, spread over disc 3 and 4. So there is the track listings. And last CD is the album's latest release, I should say. The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. Megadeth still has those clever titles. Just like So Far So Good, So What? The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. He likes those exclamation points, Dave. This album's very strong too when it came out. I think I like Dystopia better, but this is really close to it. It's really good. This was I think I got this at Target also, because there's 2 bonus tracks called This Planet's on Fire, Burn in Hell, and a live version of Dystopia. But it also featured a 3D lenticular cover, which was just placed on there. It's too big to fit in the jewel case, so I just have that as a kind of like a collectible. All right, that's it for the CDs, but I do have two movies to show. First, I had the DVD of Rude Awakening, the full concert. Remember these old DVD cases? How many people there remember what a DVD is or don't know what a DVD is? So 24 tracks. You got the entire concert there. This extras include interviews, B-roll footage, studio footage of recording of The World Needs a Hero, and bonus concert footage. Again, this is the band with Jimmy DeGrasso, Al Pitrelli, Ellison, and obviously Mustaine. And the last but not least, the Blu-ray version of A Night in Buenos Aires. Nothing bonus on here. Glenn Drover, James McDonough, Sean Drover, and Dave. So the only original member is Dave Mustaine, but with Megadeth, that's kind of all you need. We love Marty Friedman and Dave Ellison, but Steve Ellison's back out of the band for being a creep. But we just saw him at the Back to the Beginning concert, so he's still going. Yes, this one I like this a lot more than Rude Awakening, believe it or not. I like this because it's older. That makes sense. It's more nostalgic for me, but better track listing and a little better playing in my opinion on this album. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching this. Sorry it's been so long. It's gone over a half hour, but I figured, hey, Megadeth is going to be calling it quits, so why don't I show off my CD collection of what I have right now. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll check you in the next video. Thank you.